right back there. Good night, beautiful, blessed family. Okay. It's kind of, I don't know why it looks like that. Hold on. Okay. Hello, beautiful, blessed family. I know you're all probably sleeping. For those of you who are awake, good night or good morning. I wanted to be clear. It seems like most of my distractions and disruptions for the videos happen in the day. So I thought I'd try and get some sleep, and now I'm alert and I'd be able to share with you my thoughts on the inauguration. Now, I was saying before my last live, I was saying that I haven't heard any truth, as much truth as I've heard today during the inauguration in relations to the things he was saying about gender, things that need to be fixed in regards to the U.S. Now, it doesn't mean I've fallen for the tactics of the enemy by any means. What it means is that clearly the whole puppet show is aware that we're aware of who the enemies are because of the, remember, politics and Hollywood are closely linked. They're all this, it's all a show. The music, the shows that they have on television, the commercials, they're all meant to program us to think a certain way, okay? That's why we buy so much into medicine, that we have to run to the doctors as opposed to fasting or anything herbal to fix whatever needs to be fixed. That's why we eat whatever they give us without question. So today, the inauguration, I want you to notice some of the things that I noticed, so you know what they're trying to do. They're trying to paint this gentleman and his family as being pure and white. You notice that all the women wore during the inauguration balls wore white gowns. His wife wore white. The all the ladies, most of them wore white during the during the ball. Now, I think, not that anything wrong with black or any other color, but white symbolizes purity, holiness, okay? Now, in relations to the things that were said, he talked about going back to two genders, male and female. He talked about the sanctity of marriage. And we all know as Christians that the sanctity of marriage is what's been under attack all this time. He talked about... what else did he talk about? He talked about quite a number of things, but I want you to notice something as well. When there were singers, and you notice how he's always been promoting his connection with people of color and people from Mexico. All of the singers, there was two singers. One, a gentleman who sang at the ball, and Carrie Underwood, who sang at the inauguration. And I was just questioning why are the country artists, what I thought he had a connection with it, why not Beyonce, why not all these other artists that supposedly are say they're Christian and represent the people of color, and that are one of the top 100 artists on Billboard right now. And the reason being is because they're trying to disassociate. Very wise, whoever he's doing it, because he's a pretty crafty gentleman, or whoever's giving him information of how to conduct himself. They've disassociated himself with all that's happening with the gentleman Diddy, who is in jail right now. There are a lot of artists who are being investigated right now that could have sang at this inauguration that weren't even there. We didn't see anyone associated with what was going on right now, which is telling. He had reverends, he had black reverends speak. He had Martin Luther King's speech quoted. He had, I think, two reverends. He had people from the Christian community speak. So he's disassociated himself with anything evil, anything witchcraft, anything ungodly, anything the Antichrist. I'm not saying some of the things he said weren't of the Antichrist. What I'm saying is that he's trying to disassociate himself with those things so people will trust him. That's what he's doing. He's not any different than anybody else. There's one of these videos going viral right now with him and Obama sitting closely together talking. It's obvious that this is all a show. I'm just having you just keep your eyes open to what is going on. I'm being honest. When I heard the things he was saying, I was like, praise the Lord, that God is doing something. God is doing something. Remember, God is the author and the finisher. He's allowing this. He's doing this for whatever reason. He's making it sure that we know that that whatever's happening in Hollywood that's being exposed, the witchcraft and everything, and the magic and everything, is opposite to him. His whole theme was godly and holy and righteousness. This is all he said he claims he stands for, right? So I also want to bring your attention to the prophecy that Mr. Trump would be the last president. Now, when he was in power the first time and he was out and all that happened with him, I thought that, it made me seem like a liar. But I stood by what I was saying. This is what God showed me. I'm not the only one who's shown this. Guess who's in power now? That being said, if that is what the Lord is saying, we need to keep ourselves in holiness. We need to live a righteous, holy life in preparation. Be wise. The wise virgins is what we need to be right now. Because if this is the case, and after all he's been through, he's back in power again, that says a lot. It says a whole lot. Right? Because I thought to myself, it takes a lot of courage to speak a word that looks different than what's happening in the moment. And Celestial, my hat's off to her because the Lord speaks to her, but she has to say a thing, trusting what the Lord is telling her she needs to say it and when she needs to say it. It's a challenging thing to be chosen by God to do a work, to speak a thing. My point of this is that we don't want to fall for the tricks of the enemy. I went to a church recently. I've been going to it. I talked about this before. I was invited to a church and I've been going for a little bit. Everyone there professes to be Christian. Everyone there professes to be holy. They preach the most. They talk in tongues. They say I don't know if the tongues are real now, because I know that most of them, if not all, practice witchcraft. And I don't know if it's cultural, or if it's because some churches are just set up that way to draw, just like the Black Widow spider, draw Christians in and destroy them. But all I know is that most of the attacks against my physical well-being came from a church. People who were appointed to be missionaries and evangelists and pastors in a church. My physical attacks have recently came from there. Not just from there, but that was one of the sources of the attacks of the enemy. When I was having that cough, the church. Whenever I sing and open my mouth to sing is where they enter the mucus and the infection was coming in. And whenever I sang, the worship was about maybe say 45 minutes. Very good worship at some point, not so much now, but it was at one point. I'd have to cough up phlegm. Stay calm, let God fight for me. And if I stay calm and not get upset about it, a cold never manifests. The first time this happened, when I was coughing, the video that I did when I was coughing up blood. I felt the enemy was out to kill me or take my life. Anyway, this is going to be interesting. I think you guys need to either stay prayed, fast and pray, ask the Lord to protect your children. You know what I've noticed about my children? And I didn't know this. I had my children watching Disney and all sorts of things. The last movie, Wicked, that came out with Ariana Grande and that young lady, that movie, Ariana Grande professes to be a witch. And now it's been known that many of these artists are witches. Kim Kardashian, she's a witch. Beyonce, she's a witch. Erykah Badu, she's a witch. How many people have been singing into our homes and projecting video into our homes and are practicing witchcraft? There is clear witchcraft spells being spoken out in Wicked. And the reason why I know this is because to my daughter that I know that the Lord has called, she has these dreams, these prophetic dreams. She's in a situationship right now. And I call it that because she's not married. And her and her sister had this sister date, and they went to go see Wicked. And then when she saw it, she said she was crying. She was just so enamored by it. She bought the video on Disney Channel. So she's been watching it over and over again. So when I came over, she had it on and I was watching it, which I probably shouldn't have, but I did. And there was actually witchcraft spells being spoken on there. Imagine that's being spoken into your home. And I don't even know what the words are, what kind of curses are speaking into her space. Anyway, we need to be wise in this hour. There's many things that people are allowing into their homes, including these boxes that we speak into and ask for the time. We ask them to set a timer, all that kind of stuff. Those boxes are AI, artificial intelligence, and they're demonic. I'm going to put a link in the description about what they say these things are. They're not of God. They're demonic. They're Nephilim. All right, so let's be wise. Let's be wise about the choices that we're making. Okay? All right, so of course someone made a comment about me falling victim or falling for the spell. I'm not falling for any spell, but I'm watching for what's happening right now. We have to be wise. All right, guys, until next time, be blessed. Until next time, be blessed. Remember, you're made marvelously. You are a special generation created for this special time. Okay?